So always rotate elbows in. Topic of today is what, as it was taught to me, it was called Kung Fu push-up. Exists in other disciplines, in yoga, for example. To be honest, I don't know what they call them in other disciplines. I've not looked at them too much, but we called it Kung Fu push-up back in the days when I learned it. So, as is the case with all of these videos, I'm trying to pass on the knowledge to you. So I'm going to call it Kung Fu push-up, and thanks to the guys who taught me back then, Sensei Ali Taner, shout out to him. Yeah, hopefully you guys will get some benefit out of this. So the thing, as always, is if you've watched some more of the videos, is there's always going to be some tweaks, right? So let me talk you through a few of those and why I've modified the movement in this way. And then right at the end, let's talk about the visualization part, because that's always key, as we know, to enable that mind-body connection work to happen. So this video is unedited, by the way, right? So if I'm just going to stutter and get confused, it's probably just because I'm just getting it to you guys unedited. The movement looks like this, right? And you'll see it's similar to others. And then let me go into the details a little bit. I'm going to do it 45 degrees to the camera, so hopefully you can get a better idea. So the starting position is downward dog. I'll go from here into drop position from like this, and then pushing back into that downward dog position. So what are the modifications here? The main reason for me, and as always, these are just opinions. There's no right or wrong. You're welcome to, and you should do them actually in different styles and different ways to learn the differences and see what works best for you. For me, then, the way I perform this push-up is designed primarily for the shoulder, and as such, I think it's probably one of the nicest exercises you can do for your front deltoids specifically. That's what I'm targeting here. This is because when we're doing dips and sort of narrow position push-ups like this, the range of motion is relatively small. And as we know, the shoulder can go from all the way back here all the way to the top. And it's not so easy to find that many movements where you can feel tension on the muscle through all of that movement. This is one of them, because typically, as we know, when we're working on resistance on machines, etc., there's always a part where there's a resistance curve, right? Or bands, it's like this, but it doesn't matter. But there's together with the movement, there is some kind of resistance curve. But here in this one, that tension stays pretty much on throughout the whole movement. So it's quite rare like that. For me, like I say, primarily I've modified it to focus on the shoulders. Just from my personal athletic perspective, for me, the more weight there is away from my center line, the slower I feel I am in kind of athletic movements, rotation, acceleration, this kind of stuff. So for me, it's kind of like core first and then moving outwards. So hence, shoulders first and then biceps and triceps. So, and in this way, from a development perspective, my biceps and triceps have always lagged behind a little bit the rest, because I've been more focused on the core here. Because of that, then the positions I'm getting into here are really designed to focus on doing that full range of motion for the shoulder here, for the front delts, right? So let's go into it a little bit more. Like I said, first things first, downward dog position. If you're more flexible with your hamstrings, this really helps here, because it also allows you to get into a deeper position with your shoulders where you're fully depressed in. So it's hard to talk in this position. So you may be, hopefully you can hear me clearly, but maybe you won't. But let's give it a shot anyway. So downward dog position. So reset, follow along. Don't just sit and watch. If you're on a train, whatever, fine. But otherwise, put the phone up somewhere and let's follow along with it together. Okay, here we go. So downward dog position, feet shoulder width apart, hands shoulder width apart. From here, I'm going to go into depressed shoulder position here. So we also get a nice little stretch on our hamstrings. Step one, rotation in of the elbows. This is important. If we're out here, it's much more of a triceps movement to reduce the effect on the front delts. So always rotate elbows in. From here, drop the elbows as close as possible to the ground without resting. This immediately starts to load up the front delts. You can hear it in my voice, okay? The strain starts coming on really fast. From here, chin as close as possible to the ground, rotating forwards. There's a lot of tension here on the shoulder. Now, key to going back is from here. I'm going to roll back. Elbow again goes close to the ground. And we push back up into the downward dog position. Whew. Hard to talk when you're doing that at the same time. Okay. So really key to that is getting that first drop with the elbow. Rotation first in. So you can see we're immediately in that position where the shoulders are going to work, front delt's going to work. Dropping the elbow to the ground and then rolling down with the chin as close as possible to the ground until we're fully extended forwards. And coming back, what you're trying to really do, this is where the visualization comes in, is not push the ground. Pushing the ground, we're going to be activating the triceps a lot more. And we want to do or at least in my case, I prefer to do the focus on the shoulder, the front delts a bit, the shoulders. So from that extended position, I'm not going to push down with my hands so much. I'm going to rotate my hands up this way to mimic the movement that the shoulder does. So from here, rotating up, keeping again the chin as close as possible to the ground as we come back up into the downward dog position. So let's have another look at it. So, ready position. Low forwards from here, rotating back, keeping the elbows low. And this is where the visualization part comes in, because to build that mind-body connection, as I've mentioned many times before, just feeling the muscle work is like stage one, right? But the movement is the gateway to developing that connection. And by performing them in certain ways, we get the tension applied on the target area, and then through that tension we can start the mapping of our nervous system to increase that connection, so we get better and better control and activation mobilization, whatever, however you want to use it, because the connection is just a tool, right? So key to that, like I said, the gateway is the movement, but then the real key here to get that connection, kickstarting that connection, is the visualization. And the visualization in this movement is always this, that you are rotating your hands through the movement. At no point pushing. Similar in this way to the how we do a press up for the chest. So don't push the ground, rather rotate through. Okay, give it a try, and experiment with it, and think about for yourself what's more important for you. So for your, is it going to be triceps? Is it going to be another part of the shoulder? And that way you can modify this movement to suit yourself. And so we start exploring a little bit kind of intelligent design of our workouts for ourselves, and not just copying what other people do, right? So hopefully you like this, hopefully it's useful for some people. As always, I'm just trying to pass on knowledge as it was passed on to me previously. These are some of the modifications I do. These I didn't learn from anyone, these are kind of adapted over time, but hopefully hopefully they're useful to you. So give it a thumbs up, send it on to other people. If you're using it in your material, perfectly welcome to. Just give credit, it's always nice. Yeah, see you next time. Thanks.